Hi, darling. Welcome back. As someone who grew up in the township, I remember when I was in high school, some of my classmates would be picked up by older men in these verpas. I also remember one of my friends who used to date an older guy, and we used to see her as just like, wow, girl, you got an older guy. Like, we were in high school and we were so gullible when I think about it. This man bought my friend a bucket of KFC, and we're in high school eating a bucket of KFC, and we thought we were just so iconic. We thought we were so like the cool kids. And now when I think about it, we were so stupid. We were so stupid to be impressed by a bucket of KFC, but that is what some of these older men who target teenage girls want. They want this naivety, they want this level of you are impressed by very little things. They lure you in with these very materialistic things that are actually quite cheap. They target young girls because they know it takes very little effort to impress young girls in a country where a lot of them don't have present fathers, or they don't have a family with financial security. I remember last year we had this girl that was trending on social media, Minentle, and the pastor, the girl who allegedly has been dating a pastor for 4 years since she was 14 years old. And the pastor is married and in his 40s or 50s. Like, people alternate the number, but he is an older man dating a teenage girl. And in this video, I want to talk about this thing because I thought this was not happening anymore. I thought that this was something that was happened maybe in my generation. I was shocked that this is something that we still have to deal with in the township. And I saw a few tweets, and one thing that I truly appreciated about these tweets is that they came from mostly men who were talking about how problematic this is. And I love when men push a narrative and keep each other accountable, because what this is predatory behavior. And I want you to understand the context of this video. I will localize it to teenagers, teenage girls. That is the demographic I want to highlight in this video, and why it is so problematic to be an older guy going for teenage girls in high school. But before I do that, I want us to read a few tweets from the guys on this particular topic. Hancho says, "Kasi niggas are PDF files, and they don't even care." Draco responded, "Transport drivers are the real villains." Tejo said, "Chilling with Kasi gents will make you feel like a women's rights activist. A lot of these oaks don't belong in society." Sea Party says, "Kasi ninjas need consequences. As a responsible adult, it is your duty to involve law enforcement when this is happening. We need to protect our kids, Batong." Trev says, "Ninjas will call you a Bari for saying you wouldn't sleep with underage girls." Cubic DJ says, "In grade 8, my female peers were dating taxi drivers, and those N-words were old as hell. We didn't understand because we were young." The last one, which is my favorite, from MJ, says, "It is so interesting how male socialization works. A reasonable, logical human should see predatory behavior in older men and call it out for what it is. But no, they see it as a potential male privilege for them. The same playbook they use for rapists and abusers." I really appreciate that the gents were open about this and were keeping men accountable for this, because I have my own opinions that I want to share about this topic, but I will share in the end. Before I do that, I want us to watch a few videos that talk on this particular phenomena, and then I will add my breakdown at the end. Okay?
Young boys.
Really?
Yeah.
How young is
the
very
youngest?
young?
What's the youngest?
My current boyfriend.
How old is he?
We won't
You
judge.
will out.
23.
Oh, okay. The highest you've went?
The highest. We won't judge.
We won't. We're like a big happy family.
We're gonna 100 views.
We won't judge.
No.
He turned 40 this year.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And he's famous, Marai. Let me keep quiet.
Yeah, no way. Just because, like, people, guys, you know
But
what?
I feel like
They
she's
piss me off.
criticizing the wrong people. As a kid, you don't grow up and then you look at an old man and think, oh, he's hot. No, you're looking at your age mates. It's these old men that look at young girls and they're like, oh yeah, you're cute. Then they start grooming these young girls.
my point.
So I don't know.
Like, if you're not educated enough,
How does that happen, actually? I just want to know.
and it's a lot of hands who have daddy issues, if I'm being honest. It's hands who have daddy issues.
Speak.
In most cases.
Growing calls for a 40-year-old pastor to be arrested after a 17-year-old girl celebrated their 4th year anniversary on social media showing off lavish gifts. This and more stories in Scroller.Africa.
Thinking Uguti, my man, like every after school, I have to choose maiden name. Every after school. So today, I went with pizza. And then tomorrow I'll decide what ones will like. So yeah.
I want us to fully grasp the situation, right? I am 23. I was born in 2001. Someone who's 16 was born in 2008. They are 7 years my junior. They're still in high school. I work. I'm a grown-up. They're still a child. With all this information being said, what about a 23-year-old dating a 16-year-old is something that we can just look past and pretend is not happening? That's sick. That's disgusting. That's pedophilia. It doesn't matter who it is. Whether it's a woman, whether it's a man, if you are at that age and you're dating a child, you're a pedophile. That's it. That's plain and simple. That's disgusting. She's a child. She's got 9 years until her frontal lobe fully develops. She is not processing the situation the way that she should be processing it because she's a child. This is very disturbing. This is very disturbing and very alarming. I hope we never normalize this. Even if it's happening, let's not pretend that it's fine just because it's happening.
So back in March, I did a video with regards to a case we saw during ops, right? And I remember very clearly with this particular case. The story is somewhere on my page, but just to summarize. We had a 14-year-old girl on this particular day that my friend and I were on call. And when we're looking through these notes before, like checking the patient and examining her, we see that it was noted on admission that her baby dad was at least 8-9 years older than her. And I remember bringing this to TikTok and asking men, how can you look at a minor and say or decide that they are sexually attractive? How do you look at somebody who still plays hopscotch outside or plays jump rope outside and decide, you know what, I'm going to date her, I'm going to sleep with her and impregnate her? And again, now that we have a 13-year-old who was impregnated by a 28-year-old, again I ask, as a grown man who knows the difference between right and wrong, how do you look at a minor and decide, you know what, I'm going to sleep with her? And what's scary is with some of these men, they are fathers already. They have kids elsewhere. Some of them have daughters themselves. And if you can do this to somebody else's daughter, I'm scared for the safety of your own daughter when she's around you. And the same thing applies to your sons. What kind of example are you setting out there for your son? The message you are putting out there as a grown man who knows better is that it's okay to take advantage of these young girls. Nothing is going to happen. That is essentially what you're putting out there to your son. And I know some people might argue with me and say, but no, kids forget these things. Kids learn a lot from their parents. And imagine that is how you want your son to turn out as. To take advantage of young girls. To be a perpetrator, essentially. And let me not even get started on how dangerous pregnancy can be. The biggest thing I took from that obstetrics rotation back in Feb and March was that Pregnancy, as much as it can be such a beautiful process and delivery can be beautiful, it can be dangerous as well. There are so many issues you can develop post-pregnancy. Take, for example, gestational diabetes. If you develop gestational diabetes while you're pregnant, research has shown that you're at a greater risk of developing type 2 diabetes later on in life, and the child that you were carrying during that time is also at a greater risk of developing type 2 diabetes some stage in their adult life. Some women go into pregnancy fine, and because now the heart needs to compensate, because you also need to make sure that the fetus has an adequate blood supply, they develop issues like pregnancy-related cardiomyopathies. These are grown women, mind you, who are earning a salary, they are happily married, they're paying a bond on a house. Now imagine putting a child through that. In addition to that, that same child just started going through puberty a year ago. Hips are not fully developed, and you are telling me that you are going to put them through the process of delivering naturally. And best believe when they get to the hospital, when they are examined there, they are going to progress slowly, and it's going to be a thing where they're going to need an emergency C-section because the pelvis is not adequate. And they're going to be traumatized, and that is what you, as a grown man, are deciding you're going to put somebody's child through. And yes, there are a lot of social issues that affect teenage pregnancy rates and statutory rape rates that we can discuss in another video. But men in this country are sick. They are very, very sick, Shem. They are very, 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 very sick.
There was a TikTok video that came out with men from the Shembe church marrying young girls. And it's been a topic and it's been trending. And without compromising anyone, I spoke to someone who has intel in the Shembe church. And this person, I asked him very hard questions. And initially he was very vague. But part of what I extracted was some of these old guys are marrying underage girls. By underage, we mean under 16. Yeah. And some of these guys, we have to assume because they're married to them, they are having sex with them, which is a contravention of the law. In this country, the age of consent officially is 16. 16-year-old girl can sleep with any man she wants. There's other technicalities where 12-year-olds can sleep with each other and whatever, but that's not important. So if a guy is marrying if Penwell at 39 is marrying a 15-year-old girl, and I end up being intimate with her, that's breaking the law. That's a crime.
One of the justifications that I know a lot of us as Africans like to use for certain practices is culture. I know some people are going to say it's African culture. We've been doing it for years. It's normal. Our grandparents married at 16. What people fail to recognize, what is culture, and is culture natural? I want to pose for you this question. If culture is natural to the human being and it is not man-made through time, why are cultures different across the world? What is or what encompasses culture? Let me read it for you. Language, communication, courtesies, rituals, roles, customs, relationships, practices, expected behaviors, values, thoughts, manners of interaction. All these things that are a part of culture are things that we as human beings create in a particular place and time. Yes, culture is beautiful when it reminds us of where we come from. But think about the fact that we don't even wear our traditional garments. We only wear them on Heritage Day. We don't walk around in leopard skin, cow skin. We don't do that anymore because culture is human-made. It is man-made, and it evolves as time progresses. For example, right now, our culture is very different, and I believe if someone from the 1900s were to see how we are now, they would be shocked. The fact that the culture is now, you can be around people and be on your phone And it's normal. It's normal to be in a social setting and clicking your phone. That is the culture. It is normal for us to wear fabrics that are from European countries or from Asian countries. It is normal for us to dance, to sing, to listen to certain music. Now, even our language evolves. We create our own subcultures of language. These languages that exist on social media that become a part of our lexicon. There is a lot of things, how we dress, how we do our makeup, how we interact with each other. We are now a part of a bigger global culture. So yes, we have the historical culture, we have our roots. Culture it reminds us where we come from, our ancestral lineage, but it doesn't mean that everything that comes from culture is correct. We can dissect the culture now. We have a culture of basically hustle. We have a culture of hustle by all means. We have a culture now of selfishness. People do believe in the fact that you have to make money, you have to build your own community. Ubuntu is very much diluted now. Culture, it doesn't mean that culture, just because something is culture, it means it's good. Culture is something that evolves. And with the information that we know now, we're able to recognize some of the flaws of historical context. Yes, there is beautiful aspects of culture. I'm not trying to negate that. There are values that we share and I feel like are very valuable and teach us important things. The values around family first, living with your family, raising a child with a village. Those are things that are beautiful in our African cultures, our clothes, the stories, the lessons, the wisdom. There's nothing wrong with interrogating the practices that are harmful. And because now we are aware of science and how the human mind works, we know that the human brain fully forms, especially the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for emotional regulation, impulse control, planning, and problem solving. That part of our brain fully develops around 25 and 27. For women, the prefrontal cortex is usually developed around the age of 23 to 25. And for men, it's usually between the age of 25 and 27, which tells you that human beings, we're constantly growing. We are constantly in a space of evolution, and certain decisions that we made when we're young, we don't resonate with as we get older for every single person, man or woman. So with this wisdom that comes with age, I can't look at you as a mature adult if you are able to look at a child and think this could be someone within your dating age. Looking at a child in a very lustful way, I can't look at you as a normal adult. I'm very aware that psychology and the brain development is very also subjective to genetics. So some people do have a prefrontal cortex that takes longer. Maybe someone, they are fully developed mentally by 28, for some like by 25. But here is where I have an issue. I don't care that the government says that the age of consent is 16. What I want to point out and clearly line out, if you are an adult, and according to basically the government, adults are 18 and above, but it is my belief that teenagers are children. Teenagers are kids. I don't care how they look. I don't care. Teenagers are kids. If someone's age ends with teen, that's a kid. And yes, I know I'm going to ruffle some feathers. People are going to say, no, they are adults by 18 or 19. I feel like if you're still ending with teenager, that is a very crucial and very fun period in your life, those are your last years of being a child. Your teenage years are your last years of being in between being a child and emerging, and then you are an adult around your 20s. I believe that teenagers should date teenagers and not severe age gaps. I believe teenagers should be with other teenagers. You should enjoy your youth with someone around your age. Because I think about myself, like, yes, when I was in high school, I did have crushes. There were boys that I was like, oh, who were my age, and we had crushes. But obviously, we're all kids. Some of them don't talk to me. Like, I remember those things, and that created a certain level of insecurity, which allowed older men to see me and see, because an adult can see that you are this vulnerable person, you have certain insecurities that you don't feel desirable. Adults can see your flaws before you do because they've been through it. That's why you find the girls who are quiet, the most quiet girl in school will get pregnant, because there's an adult who sees a gap in her. They will come and fulfill, whether it's a financial thing, whether it's some kind of self-esteem need. That in itself is predatory. Like, even as a kid, I sometimes felt weird about the fact that I don't get approached by people my age. And it's another thing, I wanted to be approached by people my age, and it only happened like a few times in high school. But reality is, being approached by an adult, when you think about it in hindsight, I'm like, the person I was at 16 is not who I am now. That child was a child, and my thought process, yes, I was academically intelligent, but emotionally regulation, impulse control, I was not grown. And I'm glad I didn't go all the way and do certain things with older men. I did not engage in any kind of sexual activity. I hate how we have to filter ourselves because of the YouTube algorithm and we can't say certain words, but that's not the point. I knew, looking back, that these men, there was something crucially missing in them for them to look for a child to actually, because I remember one time this guy sent me a DM and my profile picture was me in school uniform. So you knew I was a kid. I believe kids should be with kids. Let teenagers enjoy the last years of being kids. You know what's even crazy? It's when these older men who date teenage girls say, she's mature for her age, she's what, all these stupid justifications. Why are you not friends with the boys her age? As a grown man, why are you not friends with boys her age? Because you know that they are immature. You know that there's certain conversations, there's certain life experiences you can't engage with them. So why are you with the kid? You know why you're with the kid. It's easier to fill a financial gap. It's easier to fill a self-esteem gap. It's easy to throw gifts and money because that person is a child. They are easily impressionable. I don't care even if a teenager comes and seduces you. You are the adult in the scenario. And the point of this video is teenagers should be with teenagers and around the same age. If there's a gap, I feel like it should be 1 year. If it's teenagers, I feel like let kids enjoy the last years of being young. I say all these things because I have worked as a teacher. I have worked as a university tutor as well. And I would have conversations with my students, and even at school, I would have conversation with some of the students I was tutoring. Even as a postgraduate, I realized these are kids. Like, yes, they're in university, they are still teenagers, some of them, and they reason like teenagers. And let's not act like everyone is mature. Most people are not mature by their age. And my only opinion is we should make people accountable. There is nothing Like you can look at someone and can tell that they're just a child. You can definitely look at someone, you can tell that they are a child. What's even crazy is that there's these social media pages that exist that post pictures of young girls dancing in school uniform, and the comments, I don't even want to promote those social media pages because I saw them. There was one that was trending recently on Twitter. I might plug it here, but the comments on these young girls, the videos of these young girls, I don't care. Like, you as an adult should not, like, what happened to the fact that adults are supposed to be the protectors? We are supposed to be the people who protect these kids. We are supposed to be the people who give them wisdom. If you can look at a 13-year-old girl and find her attractive and you're in your 20s or 30s, are we supposed to trust you with our siblings who are 12, 13, 14? Can we trust you around very young kids or pre-teens? Can we trust you? Because you can look at a girl in a school uniform and think, yeah, this is the one. This is just my opinion. My opinion is teenagers should be with teenagers. If there's a gap between the teenagers, it should be 1 year. Teenagers should engage with teenagers. I can't talk for people in their 20s, because once you get to your 20s, legally you can make certain decisions. Yes, maturity-wise, there's still a problematic discourse there, but my stance for this video is leave teenagers alone. So, what do you think, darling, about this video? I am a little heated because I don't feel like we should be having to remind people how to be responsible adults. I want to hear your opinions. What do you think on this topic? What advice or knowledge would you like to share with me that I probably might have missed? I look forward to hearing your opinions, and if you got to the end of this video, leave books in the comment section. Thank you, darling. Bye-bye.